Hi, how are you today? Very good. What is your name?
My name is Felix.
Felix, do you have 1 minute?
I do have.
All right.
I got a minute. Yeah.
Great.
1 minute.
All right. What is the difference between climate and weather?
So, climate and weather. I guess for me, climate is a general I don't want to use the word ecosystem, but a general trend in what the weather is like in a particular geographic region. Weather is like how is like the specific way the climate is at that particular point. Climate is like the more macroscopic
All right.
view of it. So
Right.
like where we are right now, the climate is like.
Now, what's the last thing you hear about global warming?
The last thing I heard about global warming was in the center of the debate between whether it exists or it doesn't exist. And most recently, I agree with the side that says that it does exist, especially since there have been studies that the ozone layer is decreasing. And then we've also seen the Arctic melting and the polar bears dying, which of course gets at everyone's hearts. And then we see more severe weather patterns, especially with all the tornadoes and hurricanes. And so I think people are becoming more aware that it's real.
Okay.
And I used to study it when I was in grade school,
Okay.
and it wasn't accepted at the time, but my teachers were telling me that it does exist and that we're in trouble and the whole environment is at risk.
Did you take it seriously?
I did take it seriously, and I encouraged my family to go green and start recycling. And then we've also seen the Arctic melting and the polar bears dying, which of course gets at everyone's
Are anywhere near correct, then this is the greatest challenge facing humanity today. It is the greatest challenge humanity has ever faced and probably will ever face. It is a challenge that if we don't meet it, then future generations will have a quality of life way below that we ourselves enjoy. Now, technology, it exists. We have the technology that we would need to reduce carbon emissions without losing the energy that we rely on. This technology exists. It is out there. And at the end of the lecture, someone in the audience asked a very pertinent question. It exists, so why aren't we doing it? Professor Hazeldine gave a very good answer, talking about funding and tightness of governments, so on and so forth. But actually, he gave a far more succinct answer with a throwaway comment halfway through his lecture. And that comment was this: at the moment, it is socially acceptable to put all that carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. And you don't need a PhD in climate science to be able to tell who's telling the truth and who's talking nonsense. You simply need a bit of science, a bit of critical thinking and objectivity. But you need to see distinctions between the basic science and the advanced science, between real skepticism and denial, which often calls itself skepticism, between good science and bad science, and between science and politics. If you understand these four distinctions, a lot becomes clearer. However, there are those whose goal is to blur these distinctions, because if these are blurred in then it becomes very difficult for them to tell should we do. That's what we elect politicians for, to answer to because we want something to be done, and we put them in office because we expect it to be done. They may not do it, but that is what politics is, whether you're talking about it in a pub or whether it's in the Houses of Parliament. What should we do? And it advances by debate, and everybody's opinion matters. If we were somehow, this room were transported to another planet and we needed to get back, we had 3 different options, we would have to discuss it between ourselves. What do we do? Now, science is very different. Science is about a different question. What are the facts? And it advances by research producing evidence. You do not get the answer to a scientific question by debate. You get